Governor Greg Abbott declaring a state of emergency for parts of Medina County as a wildfire threatens thousands of homes. The latest damage reports and a look at the efforts to get that fire under control.
Plus, the slap heard round the world. Stand by. There it is. That hand went across the face of Chris Rock last night from Will Smith during the Oscars, right in the middle of the show. How the Academy is responding to the incident in your morning headlines.
And the National Medal of Honor Museum choosing Texas as a location for their new facility. Details ahead in a live interview with the museum's president and CEO.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
What a great conversation piece to start the week, huh?
I know. We've been talking about it all morning. Oh, my goodness. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Leave it to the Oscars to give us a memorable moment.
Yes.
And this is going to be one that's going to be talking about for a long, long time.
I think so.
All right, so let's, where are we starting? Outside with live cam?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 65 degrees right now.
So Justin can weigh in on the big slap.
I have to follow that. I mean, that's not fair, right? That's it's definitely upstaging weather here. No, we are concerned, though. Of course, we've had the fires over the weekend. And the good news, we've got more humidity coming in. That's going to help a lot when it comes to containing those fires. Still, though, we have gusty winds today, so they still could spread some, and that's where some of the concern lies. And we do have a red flag warning. We'll show you that in just a second. 65 right now. South-southeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. It says the dew point is 28. I don't think that's correct. That number has come up quite a bit. I think the sensor there at the airport is not recording right. As far as the forecast goes, 74 by noontime. We'll lose some of these morning clouds that we have out there. They were up around 85 this afternoon. Winds, though, as I mentioned, will be gusty out of the south, anywhere from 5 to 15, but probably gusting close to 20. There's a look at some of the morning cloud cover, and it is fairly thick in spots, especially as you get west of town. Starting to see some breaks here around San Antonio, though, and we'll see a lot more sun this afternoon. Pollen count is in. Oak has jumped way up there. We are officially into oak season, and it's starting to show. 1,850. Molds moderate today. 640 hackberry and mulberry, both there. Expect those oak numbers to continue to rise. We mentioned the red flag warning. Still some fires going out there. We're watching one, of course, in Medina County, but also out in Kinney County and Kerr County. Fires can still spread rapidly today, despite the fact humidity is up, and that's why this red flag warning is in effect. We're going to talk much more about the fire threat and our chance for rain coming up tomorrow night. That's in a few minutes, but let's get over to Stephen now with a look at some traffic issues.
You know, Monday started off pretty busy, Justin. We had a lot of problems out on the roadway earlier, and right now, traffic, that is, doesn't seem drivers can catch a break. Check out 35 at Olympia. We do have a crash that was reported out there, and we're still seeing that first responders are out there on the scene right there along 35. The traffic also slowed down, backed up to about 5 miles in those southbound lanes. So again, not a place you want to be this morning, but if you do have to head through that area, this is what you can expect. A huge stretch of red in those southbound lanes of 35 right at Olympia Parkway there in Live Oak. While this crash does seem to still be causing problems for drivers, it does look like other crashes are clearing out, but we're still seeing somewhat of a slowdown here off of Loop 410 eastbound at McCullough Avenue, where we did have a major crash earlier that caused a huge slowdown in those eastbound lanes. Does look like it's improving, but not out of the woods just yet. Let's take a drive down over here where we have some restricted flow off I-10 westbound at Presses Street. You can see a slight slowdown. That's actually a little bit of an improvement versus what we saw earlier, but that crash has cleared out. Let's get that bird's eye view of the metro area at 9:01. Thankfully, we're not seeing major slowdowns in other areas of town, but these are areas you're definitely going to want to stay alert and make sure that you watch for those first responders. Again, 35 at Olympia. We're going to watch this area closely and give you those updates with KSAT.com. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.
Here's today's look at the 9 at 9.
President Joe Biden is expected to unveil a new budget proposal today. It includes a renewed focus on cutting the federal deficit and a proposal to increase taxes on the wealthiest Americans. If approved by Congress, households worth more than $100 million would have to pay a minimum tax of 20% on their earnings. Both parties have shown little support of the idea in the past. A new poll by the Associated Press shows a slim 34% of Americans think President Biden is doing a good job.
Peace talks between Russia and Ukraine are set to resume as early as today. Turkey says it's hosting talks between Ukraine and Russia this week, but some leaders think it's the Russian people who could end the war. The problem is, Russian President Vladimir Putin is making it hard for his people to learn the truth about what's going on in Ukraine.
Coda took home Best Picture at the 94th Academy Awards on Sunday, while Will Smith and Jessica Chastain each took home Top Acting Awards. Smith won his first Academy Award, winning Best Actor for his role in King Richard. The award came after a dramatic moment in the ceremony, a slap, an exchange of words between Smith and the host of the show, comedian Chris Rock. The comedian made a joke about Smith's wife returning in the next G.I. Jane movie, which features a bald woman.
The House Select Committee filed contempt of Congress reports for Trump White House aides Dan Scavino and Peter Navarro. Both men have declined to testify before the committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack. The criminal referral for both former Trump advisors comes ahead of the committee's planned meeting today.
COVID vaccine makers are facing more pressure from investors to help poorer countries. The Wall Street Journal says investors have put resolutions up at Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson to share their COVID technology. The resolutions will face a vote at annual meetings next month.
The FDA could authorize more COVID booster shots for people over age 50 as soon as tomorrow. It comes as infection rates tick up in the Northeast due to the Omicron variant BA2. Officials say for now, the fourth shots are likely to be offered but not formally recommended. FDA experts will meet early next month to discuss the broader population.
Another wave of disruptions caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine are now hitting the oil markets. Since deals for oil are usually made a few weeks before it is shipped, the deals for Russian oil that stopped when the war started are now being felt. UBS estimates shipments of around 2 million barrels a day have already been affected.
Car makers that don't meet federal fuel efficiency requirements are now facing higher fines. Reuters says federal officials have reinstated the fines after the Trump administration delayed them.
The U.S. Capitol is reopened to the public after being closed for 2 years due to the pandemic. Guided tours will only be available for limited groups who have registered in advance. The move marks Congress's latest relaxation of COVID-19 restrictions. Mask requirements inside the Capitol were relaxed weeks ago. The Visitor Center is slated to reopen to visitors Wednesday. That's today's 9 at 9.
Other top stories we are following today. A man is in the hospital fighting for his life following a shooting at an East Side gas station.
This happened around 11:30 last night at a Valero on South W.W. White Road, not far from East Houston Street. And that's where police say a man and woman were waiting for roadside assistance for a flat tire when all of a sudden a vehicle pulled up and someone inside that vehicle shot the man in the chest and shoulder. The shooter then got back in the car and sped away.
The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The woman was not hurt. Right now, police are still searching for that suspect and trying to figure out if the victim and the suspect knew each other.
A woman is dead this morning and a man in critical condition after a shooting at a Northeast Side apartment complex.
Police tell us they're looking for multiple suspects. This all unfolding last night at the Judson Meadow apartment complex. While our crews were actually there, they did see at least 3 men handcuffed and put in the back of police units.
Both victims are believed to be in their late teens or early 20s. We're going to bring you more updates on the story as new information becomes available.
In morning headlines, the latest on the wildfire burning in Medina County and the race to save homes in the area. And a car flies into a house, and it's all caught on camera.
Plus, it's a viral moment at the Oscars that has everyone talking this morning. RJ Marcus is here with that story and more. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, no big news, right, to come from the Oscars, right? Nothing.
It's like, oh, there was Oscars and there was a big slap.
Yes, we'll talk about that here in just a bit, and we'll get some reaction here. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say here, just some thoughts about it. But of course, we start out here locally, guys, with this big story from over the weekend. Obviously, in Medina County, this wildfire there west of San Antonio. So it is still burning this morning with more than 1,000 acres scorched so far. Governor Greg Abbott issued a disaster declaration, and at this point, we know that it's about 50% contained. No injuries have been reported, but crews say at least 3 homes have been destroyed. 40 more are in danger, and 119 homes are without power this morning. So several aircrafts, you can see right there, and ground vehicles were in Medina County over the weekend on Sunday to help contain the flames, along with hundreds of firefighters. Philip Kyle is one of the residents there. He lives in the High Mountain Ranch subdivision, one of the areas that has been deemed unsafe. Kyle's home is still standing, but Medina County deputies had to rescue his elderly father-in-law on Saturday.
2 of them carried him out. It was amazing. And then they relayed to me that the water drops were going on top of them to keep the fire, because the fire was like 75 feet or 100 feet away, something like that. It was coming.
Yeah, scary scene there for a lot of people. So an evacuation center has been set up at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church, Catholic church that is in Helotes, for people who need assistance. Okay, now this crazy video out of Jacksonville, Florida, where a car was seen speeding down a neighborhood street before it slammed into a home, injuring 3 people. Check this video out. This is video from a home security camera. A car is seen swerving down the street, and then it later barrels into the front of that home. So multiple neighbors say the car was swerving. You can see it right there, just slammed right into that home. Yeah, speeding, obviously. Now, these neighbors saying that the passenger took control of the wheel during an argument. They also said that a woman was actually sitting out in the front in a lawn chair when the crash happened. A neighbor who did not want to be on camera described more of the scene.
I just heard a big kaboom. My mind was just everywhere because I don't know, it could have been a child, anyone, but the person who stayed here, I noticed that they always sit in their front yard all day, every day. So, I just ran over here to make sure they was okay.
All right, so firefighters there transported 3 people to the hospital. Neighbors say the driver and the passenger of the car were 2 of those people that were transported, along with that woman who was sitting outside. Now, there's some good news here. None of the injuries are reported to be life-threatening. Okay, now to one of the craziest things at the Oscars, if not the craziest things that you'll probably ever see at that show, the Will Smith-Chris Rock altercation that of course went viral and left everyone confused, including myself as I was watching this last night. So while presenting the Best Documentary Award, Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head. Jada is Will Smith's wife. The actress has been open about her struggle with alopecia, an autoimmune disorder that leads to hair loss. Well, Will Smith, we're just seeing this video here, appeared to laugh at first, but then he walked up on stage and then later hit Chris Rock right in the face.
Uh-oh, Richard! Oh, wow! Wow!
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so after Smith went back to his seat, he yelled for Rock to keep his wife's name out of his mouth, using some pretty explicit language that was cut out from the audio feed here in the U.S. So the Dolby Theater, where the Oscars were held, actually went silent. You could see that, and Rock appeared stunned. Smith later won the Best Actor award for his role in King Richard, and he apologized in a tearful speech and said that he hopes the Academy welcomes him back in the future. The Academy later tweeting out a statement saying it, quote, does not condone violence of any form. So guys, my thoughts on this is that Will Smith obviously felt in the moment compelled that he had to go do this, defend his wife, defend his family, as he said later, but he's obviously now having to deal with all the ramifications, repercussions of this, and I think it just overshadowed what should have been a great night for him. He's been in the business for a long time, and also overshadowed everything else that happened with those awards and those winners.
Yeah, it did. That's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of hard work that goes into that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Embarrassing. Should have waited till at least a commercial break if he wanted to confront Chris Rock and gone back behind stage and confronted him back there, threatened him all he wanted. Don't ever say my wife's name again, whatever. Yeah. And I'm not 100% convinced that it wasn't some sort of setup.
I initially thought it was a bit or some of that thing, especially watching it. And when you're not hearing the audio on the American feed, I was confused as to what was going on. But then later, the other feeds started coming out from the international broadcast, and then you could see that Will Smith. I don't know if it was staged, then then this is one of the greatest stage moments. I don't know what else.
I'm not saying it was all staged. I'm just saying it seems to me like there at least a partial of it was set up. I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that one or both of them didn't know something was about to happen.
I'm interested to hear from Chris Rock, whoever he talks to first, and just to kind of get his side of things, and also whether he knew that Jada Smith was also going through that condition, alopecia. So he may have not known. I mean, the joke I don't think was great to begin with, but yeah, and I'm interested to hear from Chris.
But I think they've had a history. because you've seen and read some stuff. I've seen and read some stuff about. I mean, we're going back to like 2016, 2018.
Chris Rock made a joke about
where he made a joke about her not coming to the Oscars or something. And if you're not invited, you know, you're not boycotting anything or something like that. So I'm not, but I'm still not 100%.
A long ways to go.
See.
I'm a little skeptical. I'm not saying
I'm not
saying all of it was a setup. I'm just saying there's, I don't know, just kind of the way Chris Rock reacted.
Well, we'll see. Thank you, RJ.
Thanks, y'all.
We do know one thing. This is going to be around for a long, long time.
Yes.
The Oscars got a lot of attention, that's for sure.
Yeah, they did.
Not the kind they wanted, but you know. 9:13, 65 degrees.
And coming up, pet supplies can be costly, especially with prices rising on nearly everything. In our next half hour, details on how you can save some money on pet supplies.
But first, we are going to be talking live with the president and CEO of the Medal of Honor Museum as they break ground on a new location right here in Texas, what it means for the state and why they chose Texas. Coming up next.
And welcome back. It's 9:16. A first of its kind museum that pays tribute to America's combat heroes will soon open in Texas. The National Medal of Honor Museum broke ground in Arlington on Friday.
Joining us now to talk about the museum is President and CEO Chris Cassidy. So good morning, Chris. Thank you very much for being here. First off, let's talk about the medal itself. What is the Medal of Honor and how the new museum is going to pay tribute to those who have earned that prestigious award?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Yeah, the Medal of Honor is our nation's highest award for valor on the battlefield. And, you know, it's actually quite amazing that a national scale museum to commemorate this medal and the recipients themselves doesn't exist yet. So we're really proud to bring it to the state of Texas, breaking ground now and opening the doors in 2 years.
And speaking of that, why did organizers choose Texas for the museum?
Well, that's a great question. You know, there was an effort, the Medal of Honor Society, which is just the recipients themselves, is headquartered in Charleston, South Carolina. And there was an effort over the last few years to get a museum there. But the foundation, prior to my arrival, did a national search to figure out where is the best place. And, you know, here in the DFW Metroplex, in Texas specifically, centrally located in the country, the plot of land that we have is near the football stadiums, baseball stadiums, Six Flags, close to DFW Airport, accessible to many Americans. So we just feel like this is a really, really great spot in the heartland of Texas and centrally located.
Obviously, the DFW is a great spot, especially for tourists who can come in and out of Texas. But how much did the fact that Texas has, I believe, 15 military bases located in the state, a lot of them here around San Antonio. San Antonio is known as Military City, USA. So how much did the role of the military in this state play a part in bringing this museum to Texas?
You know, the patriotic nature of the state of all Texans is near and dear to our heart on the project. And that certainly is a factor, and the willingness of the state of Texas to help us out and get us a site that's buildable, all of that is a huge factor. And having it be close to all the cities in Texas, specifically San Antonio, as I say, which is Military City, USA.
And how can people support the museum going forward and learn more about the project?
We've got a website, mohmuseum.org. You can learn all about it. It's a physical museum here in Texas, which will house a leadership institute, which is actually the part of the project that the recipients are most excited about. And then a monument on the mall in D.C. We've raised $165 million. We need 217, so we're chugging along. But you can support us and learn about us right there on the website.
And when can we expect for the museum to be open and people can actually come visit?
Yeah, it's about a 2.5-year build. So somewhere in September, October of 2024. So football season of 2024 is when we're planning to open the doors.
All right.
That'll be awesome.
That's very
awesome
cool.
Timing. Yep.
Well, Chris Cassidy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And good luck with that museum. And thanks for bringing it to Texas. I know the folk down here are going to love that. Thank you. Appreciate your service, too.
Thank you, sir.
9:19, 65 degrees.
Yeah, not too bad this morning. Not cold like last week.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty comfortable. We've had some nice days. It's been a little windy, though, and dry, of course, and that has been the biggest issue of all. I want to show you the current smoke and fire map. Now, those red dots you see on there represent where there could be a hot spot or a fire, but there's some big ones that jump out, right? We have one here in Kinney County that is really fairly big, and we've got some gusty winds again today, so this is going to blow smoke north, and this fire could spread a little bit more if those winds really do pick up. The fire in Medina County not producing as much smoke, but as you heard RJ said, only 50% contained. And then we have a couple there in Kerr County as well. Big one out near Waco that's producing a lot of smoke up near DFW. But locally, there's that fire in northeastern Kinney County and producing smoke around the Rock Springs area. So there's going to be some air quality issues there. And then we're watching a couple more fires, as I said, in Kerr County. Hopefully with some added moisture today, we can get things under control. Again, the big problem is we still have gusty winds. Here's a look at the dew points. And right now we've got dew points starting to jump into the 50s and 60s. So this is a lot better than that really dry air that we had last couple days. And it should continue to sort of jump up. We'll see those dew points hopefully close in on 60 degrees or 60 or so. And that'll really help. Still some slightly drier air out west. Here's a look at the scene outside right now. We've got mostly cloudy skies, 65 degrees, south-southeasterly winds at about 9. I know it says the dew point is 28, but that's an incorrect reading. As I said, I think dew points are in the upper 50s, close to 60. And that's enough to produce some of this morning cloud cover that you're seeing out there. Edge of the clouds right here in Bexar County, and you go west, it's fairly thick. This morning stratus deck that's over top of us. These clouds will thin out and we'll get sun this afternoon. 64 degrees right now in Bulverde, 65 in New Braunfels, 61 Bandera, 64 in Hondo, 63 in Uvalde. In the forecast for today, we'll see those clouds sort of fade away a little bit. We'll go partly cloudy to mostly sunny this afternoon. 74 by noontime and then 84 by 4 o'clock, 85 by 5 p.m. Notice the winds are out of the south, though, anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour, probably gusting a little bit higher than that. And then by this evening, we're falling down into the 70s, 75 at 8 o'clock, 72, 9 p.m. And then we'll do it all again tomorrow with morning clouds and then afternoon sun. Where do the dew points go from here? So they do jump up today and tomorrow. Then by Wednesday, we get a front through here, or at least some drier air coming in, and we're right back into that fire danger again Wednesday, Thursday. Gusty winds on Wednesday, lower dew points, and here we go again. So that's a day I want to flag and watch out for. Here's the future cast. Now let's talk rain. Will we get it in the next couple of days? By tomorrow morning, we've got morning clouds, maybe a little bit of drizzle. And then it's tomorrow evening, just some cloud cover tomorrow around 5 o'clock. But tomorrow night, early Wednesday, that we do have a chance for rain. We start to put in a 30% chance around midnight Wednesday. And then by 6 a.m., I think we'll have a broken line of showers and storms, probably limping in here. I would not expect much rain out of this. There is an outside chance of a strong storm or two, but I think that risk is fairly low as well. That pushes east, and there we go by Wednesday, gusty winds and dry air right back into our area, and that's not good. Let's talk about the severe weather risk tomorrow. We're right on the edge here. We're going to be on the southern tail end of this, so there could be an isolated strong to severe storm, although again I think that's unlikely. The better chances are going to be to our north, places like Waco, Dallas, up into parts of Oklahoma as this storm system comes through. Unfortunately, we're just not in line to get a lot of rain from this. 30% chance, and then 86 Wednesday. Fiesta gets underway Thursday. We've got a chilly morning, 48, but we're up to 84 in the afternoon, and then some decent weather as we head into the weekend. Hopefully humidity returns once again. But until we get some good rain, it's not going to be a good situation around here, as dry as it is.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll watch out for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
Still ahead on GMSA at 9, details on how you can celebrate Fiesta with the KSAT team and where you can find KSAT Fiesta medals.
Introducing your 2022 Fiesta Royalty, powered by Silverado and your local San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
Bart Simpson, King Antonio 99, Viva Fiesta!
Meet this year's Texas Cavaliers' reigning King Antonio. Bart is a proud Cavalier. He's even more proud of the work that the Cavaliers do to help San Antonio charities.
All that I am is King Antonio. The love that I receive is just a reflection of the work that all the Cavaliers do. So it's really not, being King Antonio is not about me. It's about the work of the Cavaliers.
To date, the Texas Cavaliers Charitable Foundation has given $12 million to local charities. But with hardship the world went through these past couple of years, the Cavaliers feel giving is more important now than ever.
But we know that the most important time to give is when it's hard to give. When everybody's struggling, we just buckled down and figured out how to do it. So through COVID we continue to give because some couldn't, and that's it's important for San Antonio and our charities to have that help.
Along with honoring the fallen heroes of the Alamo, the Cavaliers also honored the servicemen and women of the military. And for this year's King Antonio, that has an extra meaning.
I'm from a Gold Star family. My father was killed in Vietnam, and I was adopted by another military man who raised me. So I'll tell you, it's very meaningful to me.
And his favorite Fiesta event? Well, there's really no surprise.
The River Parade is what I'm going to say, and I mean it. But I will tell you, it's the whole, it's a fiesta as a whole. It's a blending of our cultures, like I said before, that makes San Antonio such a unique place to live. You know, if we were all the same, it'd be a pretty boring place. And we come together and we celebrate each other's culture, and that's what the Cavaliers do.
And we are just days away from the Cavaliers River Parade, the fireworks. So got to have some chicken on the stick, and of course, Fiesta medals. This year, the Fiesta parades are making a comeback, and here's a special offer for KSAT viewers. You can get tickets to exclusive viewing parties.
That's right. And for tickets and more information on how you can celebrate Fiesta with us, just scan this QR code on your screen right now. You can watch the Battle of Flowers or Fiesta Flambeau parades in a private area at Crockett Park, along with some of our KSAT journalists.
It's going to be fun because the parade route is different this year, so
yeah.
Crockett Park's going to be the main place to be.
It will be interesting. Instead of seeing it go down Broadway, we'll see it go down Main Street. So
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So get your tickets. Come join us.
It'll be fun.
9:30, 66 degrees already.
And coming up, with the cost of nearly everything on the rise, pet supplies may be taking a backseat when it comes to feeding the family. Details on how you can save some money when making sure your pet is taken care of.
And as we go to break, check out the roads. Ooh, 410 at Jackson Keller, still a mess over there. They've had some problems this morning, and TransGuide is trying to find the best angle to show you all the traffic. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide right there, and going slow. So if you're getting out that direction, be very careful. From groceries to gas, seems like the price of everything has increased these days, and that includes the price of pet food and veterinary care.
But there are some ways to ease that burden for pet owners. KSAT digital journalist Rebecca Salinas tells us about some of the groups that can help.
Pets are like family. We feed them, we take care of them, we make sure they're in good health. But that can get pricey for a lot of people, especially during a pandemic and the highest inflation in 40 years.
So that is basically our mission, is keeping pets at home and saving pets' lives by providing access to free cat and dog food, by offering financial aid toward veterinary care.
Daisy Cares was founded in 2009 by Amy Gordon in honor of her Yorkie Daisy. She decided to open the food pantry when she realized the financial struggle pet owners face when it comes to vet bills. Daisy Cares offers grants of up to $250 for veterinary care and partners with the San Antonio Food Bank to provide pet food and supplies.
The need just intensified. It intensified for the humans to have resources, nutrition, all the support they can get, but also, of course, their animals. And someone looked into it. About 70% of the clients of the San Antonio Food Bank are also pet owners. So we just want to make sure that we really support the whole family.
The need is also something the San Antonio Humane Society knows all too well. The Humane Society offers low-cost vaccinations, wellness clinics, and spay and neutering services at the Fredericksburg Road and Brooks locations. Sign-ups for spaying and neutering services open up on the 25th of every month.
We recommend that people go online early because probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes, it fills up, but it is very, very popular.
Animal Care Services and the Animal Defense League have partnered up to offer low-cost vaccinations in underserved communities. To learn more about all of these programs, including how to sign up, visit KSAT.com. Rebecca Salinas and Ollie, KSAT 12 News.
And taking a look outside with live cam, kind of pleasant at 66 degrees, but some areas have a lot to worry about.
Yeah, well, you know, we have the clouds there, and that's an indication that humidity and moisture have returned, and that really is a good thing considering where we've been last couple of days with these grass fires. Hopefully, things will get a little bit better today. Now, the one caveat to that is that we still got gusty winds. We're still going to get those throughout the afternoon. We've had a lot of people asking, where are the wildflowers? Well, there are some. This is 71 going towards Austin. That's always a good highway to check out the wildflowers there around LaGrange. Looking pretty beautiful there. Starting to see more and more pop up. Obviously, it's been fairly dry, but that's a good stretch there along Highway 71. Thank you for sending in that picture, by the way. And as we look at the satellite picture, there's your cloud cover stretching from San Antonio west to Uvalde, Hondo, Bandera, down to Pearsall. And as you go east of town, you find the sun, Gonzales over to Nixon. Where we get those gusty winds today, fires can spread pretty rapidly, gusting 20 to 25. So that's when we have red flag warnings in effect today. It's not so much for the humidity, it's for that wind. And that goes into effect around 10 a.m. and stays in effect until 8 p.m. As far as temperatures go, it's going to be another warm one. 85 degrees here in San Antonio, mostly 80s here around Bear County, 82 Fair Oaks Ranch, 82 up there in Bernie. And then tonight, temperatures fall back down into the 60s, but not as cool as we've seen last couple of mornings. And we'll see a chance of rain coming up tomorrow night. That's sort of the big story here, with some chances of maybe a couple of thunderstorms. We'll have much more on that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, thank you, Justin. Let's take another look at the area where we had a crash earlier off of Loop 410 in Jackson-Keller. Looks like things are moving a little bit better. About 20 minutes ago, traffic was backed up to Babcock and Callahan, but that was about 5 miles back, and now it's looking a lot better. Wow, but now looking at this area, this camera angle from Loop 410 to Northwest Military Highway, things are looking a little slow in that area.
The latest now on the war in Ukraine, entering its second month, with Russian forces stalled but still pummeling Ukraine's cities.
President Biden's aide scrambling to walk back his impromptu declaration that Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power. ABC's Terry Moran has more.
This morning, Ukraine is pressing its counterattacks on several fronts, claiming new victories on the battlefield. These images released by Ukrainian authorities appear to show forces reclaiming the city of Trostianets near the Russian border. And government officials say more territory has been retaken near Sumy in the north, threatening Russia's overstretched supply lines. And 2 villages outside besieged Mariupol in the south were also said to have been retaken. But the brutal Russian assault continues. Russia struck targets in the western city of Lviv over the weekend, just 50 miles from the border with Poland. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tried to speak directly to the Russian people in an interview with independent Russian journalists, but not aired on Russian state media. He said he is open to a peace deal if Russia withdraws its troops to territories that were occupied before the invasion. Ukraine would pledge neutrality and not join NATO, but only in return for security guarantees from Western countries. Ukrainian officials claim Russia no longer has the strength to, quote, swallow the whole state. The head of Ukraine's military intelligence said Putin may be shifting strategy to split Ukraine in two after Russia's failure to seize Kyiv and try to occupy the east and south of the country. All this comes on the heels of President Biden's major speech in Warsaw, where he reiterated U.S. support for Ukraine, called Vladimir Putin a war criminal, and then, perhaps caught up in the moment, he went a step further.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
That declaration was immediately met with a backlash, the administration insisting that removing Putin from power is not a U.S. goal.
We do not have a strategy of regime change in Russia or anywhere else for that matter. In this case, as in any case, it's up to the people of the country in question. It's up to the Russian people.
And overnight, Biden himself denied he was calling for Putin to be ousted.
Mr. President, were you calling for regime change?
No. Terry Moran, ABC News, Lviv, Ukraine.
It is now 9:40, 66 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
A recap of this weekend's Spurs matchup and a preview of tonight's game, plus a look at the Final Four next in your sports headlines.
We were talking about it this morning. We're kind of in a tough spot. We want beautiful weather for Fiesta, but we need some rain desperately.
Maybe we can have the best of both worlds.
See if we can weave it in there, you know, like at the correct time. Hopefully, yeah, we need rain. I mean, that is the bottom line. It's been a really dry stretch here, and these fires are no joke. It is, it's gone from bad to worse. Now, the good news is that we've got some more humidity in here, more moisture, and that's going to help us out a little bit today. I want to show you the time lapse, and how do we know we've got that moisture back? Well, we can feel it, but also in terms of clouds. Once you get these low morning clouds, you know the moisture's starting to roll back in here. 67 degrees. Dew point is at 61, so that looks like it's corrected itself there. South-southeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. It's that south-southeasterly wind that is helping us out. 55, the current dew point in Kerrville, 58 in Hondo, and this is a dew point we want to watch, right? Medina County, seeing that moisture level come up is a really good thing. Also out in Kenny County, same story. These dew points will probably stay somewhat elevated today. We still have the gusty winds, though, and that's where the concerns come in. Cloud cover stretches from San Antonio out west. Those morning low clouds, but we're already starting to see those shrink a little bit. And I think the clouds probably go away by lunchtime, and we'll get some mostly sunny skies this afternoon. 64 Rio Medina, 64 in Honda, 63 Barney Stage, 64 Bulverde, 65 New Braunfels, and actually seeing some pretty good sun there in Seguin right now, 62 degrees there. I want to show you the smoke plume forecast. This is one of our computer models, and obviously it's picking up on that bigger fire now in Kenny County, which is still burning. But it does show the smoke plume picking up later today. Now, this is assuming that fire still is robust. If they can get it under control, the smoke plume won't be quite this large. But you can see it's throwing some smoke in the direction of places like Rock Springs and further north. And that smoke plume there in Medina County is pretty much gone as they're trying to get that fire under control. There's also one little fire there in Kirk County. But again, this underscores the whole issue that we have here with these gusty winds and the dry air. It's just been such a problem. And the gusts right now are gusting to 21 in Kerrville, gusting to 22 in Cotulla, gusting to 23 in Del Rio. And these gusts will pick up a little bit more throughout the course of the afternoon. And I think we see some gusts close to 30, especially as we get later into today. And that includes here in San Antonio. As we look at the forecast temperatures by noontime, we're in the 70s and then mid 80s this afternoon. 87 Castroville, 85 in Somerset. It'll be 85 in Elmendorf, 84 in New Braunfels. And I think most of us will be looking at mostly sunny skies. And then tonight, with the moisture still in place, clouds come back. Temperatures will stay fairly mild, 63 here in San Antonio. Now let's talk rain, or what little rain we may get from this next system. As we go forward in time here, this is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Some clouds and drizzle to start. I don't know that we see a lot of drizzle, but there could be some there. Clouds will try to stick around most of the day tomorrow, and then we go to midnight. So this is late tomorrow night, early Wednesday. We're going to start to put in a 30% chance of rain. A broken line of showers and storms kind of limps in here. We are on the far southern tail end of this storm system, and so I don't know that we're going to get much rain out of this, but at least there is something here. And there is also a possibility we could see a strong storm or two as it comes through. Gusty winds and dry air filter in behind this on Wednesday, and that's not good. So the fire threat returns Wednesday afternoon. Severe weather risk, again, we're on the far southern edge of this. There could be an isolated strong storm. The better chance for severe weather is going to be to our north, Waco, Dallas, and the parts of Oklahoma. So the 7-day forecast shows 85 tomorrow, 30% chance of rain tomorrow night. Then some gusty winds on Wednesday, 86, 84 as we officially kick off Fiesta after a cool morning of 48. And then temperatures in the 80s as we head towards the weekend.
Looks good for Fiesta. Thanks, Justin. And don't look now. The Spurs are knocking on the door to get into the play-in tournament. San Antonio gets a big win in the Big Easy on Saturday. And David and RJ are here to talk nice things about our San Antonio Spurs, right?
Did she just set us up to make sure we say something nice about the Spurs?
Well, we have to. I think Stephanie's been on the bandwagon. She's been cheering for him, so props to Stephanie. She's been with him all the way here.
We should just call it the Steph portion of the show right here. The Steph Spurs portion of the show.
The positive take.
Positive portion of the show.
Positive take here. David, 3-game winning streak? We're now, a game out of this last play-in spot. So where did this team come from?
Here's what's amazing to me is they're no longer chasing the New Orleans Pelicans. They're chasing the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah. That's how bad the Lakers are. The Lakers have fallen all the way to the 10th spot in the West, and they're just a game ahead of the Spurs in that 11th spot. So wouldn't it be just really fun to knock the Lakers out and the Spurs get in? How great would that be?
Oh, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Now, but going back to Saturday's game real quick, I think big thing here is that the Spurs were embarrassed by New Orleans here at home. The previous game a couple of Fridays ago, just embarrassed by them. So for them to come out and kind of take this serious and take this challenge, I thought said a lot about this team and kind of the growth. But as you said earlier, now we're only one game behind the Lakers at this point, and you know what? They're playing pretty well right now.
Two things stand out. Well, three things stand out. Let's go with Keldon Johnson stands out. DeJounte Murray obviously stands out. And Josh Richardson stands out.
Yes, yeah.
They have won a majority of their games. I forget what the number is. I wanted to say like 7 out of 8, but I don't think it's that good.
Right.
But I know they've won over 50% of their games since he's been a Spur and been in the lineup and started playing.
Yeah, and initially, when he was initially traded from Boston, he was not playing to start, started getting in the lineup for some injuries here. Devin Vassell's been out a little bit, Lonnie Walker, so they've actually needed Josh Richardson to step up, and he absolutely has. I think they're 7-6, David, with Josh Richardson since he started getting to the lineup.
That's not over 50%, but yeah.
It is 7-6.
7-6. A little over 50%.
A little bit over.
But the Spurs, when you look at those standings, the Spurs have the best opportunity of between New Orleans, the Lakers, and the Spurs, because I think they have the better schedule, because they still have Portland twice this weekend in San Antonio, play back-to-back, something like Friday, Sunday, or Thursday, Saturday, or something like that. There's a game in between. It's not like 2 nights in a row, but they're both here. They got Memphis, and then, of course, tonight they play the absolute worst team in the NBA, by far, bar none, the Houston Rockets in Houston.
There we go.
So,
and before we get to that, let's hear from DeJounte Murray talking about the team's mentality this last stretch of games.
We want to get in bad. I'm here to say it. We want to get in. The players really want to get in. And we're going to come out and try to approach it that way. Obviously you might have a great start, you might have a slow start, but no matter what, just play 48 minutes and, try to get a win.
All right, so once again, that game's at 7 o'clock tonight against the absolute worst team in the league. I like emphasizing that because, the Rockets are always,
Oh, yeah.
Look at us.
That's good news. That's good news for us.
Anytime we can take a shot at Rockets fans, that's
or
good.
The Mavs,
that's good stuff.
one.
Or the Mavs.
So.
Or the Mavs.
Hey, how about the weekend we had in San Antonio with college basketball?
Yeah, that was a great weekend.
Nice.
Great set of games that we had here at the AT&T Center. Now, the hometown team, I guess you want to call them, the Houston Cougars, not able to win, but still a great crowd out there over the weekend.
And now the Final Four looks like every other Final Four. I mean, this thing started out great with all these teams winning, St. Pete's winning, and getting all the way to the Great Eight, and then they lost. And you had hope that somebody new and different would join the club, and you got the same old guys. Villanova, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke. Okay, what? It's like okay.
Interesting here, of course, Duke taking on UNC. Those two have been longtime rivals. So Coach K, possibly his last game here against the old-time rival.
Did I hear the other night that they've never played each other in the NCAA tournament?
I think they never have. Yeah. So this would be a first.
Now they're playing for a trip to the finals. So and then Kansas and Villanova. So I guess we got to go for Kansas Big 12 team because man, they were dominating yesterday.
Yeah, they look really good.
So that's
a lot of blue.
Yeah, everybody's blue
there.
Well,
exactly. Yeah, Villanova, Kansas, the Dukies, and Carolina.
Yeah.
Leave it to you to point that out.
Exactly, Stephanie.
Thanks, Stephanie. See, she's paying attention.
Yeah, just noticing.
Knows what she's talking about.
Thanks, guys. Time now, 9:52. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. It is 9:55. Taking another look out there with TransGuide. There was an accident we're talking about off of Loop 410 in Jackson Keller, eastbound lanes. You see traffic there still kind of backed up, but looking a little better.
67 right now. We'll be up around 85 this afternoon. Clouds for the moment, but the sun reappears this afternoon. Hopefully a chance of rain late tomorrow night, early on Wednesday. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right. Fingers crossed.
See you back here at noon.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.